was a cheeky little monkey, his name was David Mowgli Day. He lived in a cottage on Honeycomb Hill, where he loved to potter and play. His name was David Mowgli Day.
Once upon a time, long, long ago, way back in the year 1982, there lived an old lady called Matilda Postlethwaite. She was 67 years old and dwelled in a tumble-down cottage in the remote village of Nibbly Knowe, which was situated at the foot of Honeycomb Hill. Matilda had never married, and due to her shy demeanour, had very few friends. Her saving grace was her pet monkey, an unknown breed called David Mowgli Day. This cheeky monkey had been gifted to Matilda by her dying grandfather, who had made her promise to look after him at all times. Over the years, the monkey had developed perfect English, for Matilda was unique, educated, and devoted to this cheeky little chap. Each day she cooked them both excellent gourmet meals, David's favourite being steak Diane, usually followed by his favourite dessert of Knickerbocker Glory. One glorious day, during a picnic on Honeycomb Hill, David made a startling announcement. Matilda, you've looked after me for 18 years and have treated me as your own. However, I have the sudden urge to return to the place from whence I came. I have done some research and discovered I was brought here on a ship from a remote jungle in deepest Africa called Celebratumberland. Now, I'm sorry to hurt you, dearest Matilda, but I must return to my roots and find out who I really am. Within seconds, Matilda became both dismayed and tearful. In fact, she started to blubber uncontrollably. But David, I think of you as my son. To lose you would break my heart. But alas, David was adamant that he needed to discover his roots. He petulantly tossed his cucumber sandwich over his shoulder, stamped his foot on the ground and exclaimed, I demand my rights. Anyway, I'll send you a postcard every other year. Well, if there's a post office about. As Matilda and David trundled back to the tumble-down cottage, she tearfully recalled an old book her grandfather had left her entitled
The Jungle Book Guide to Cheeky Monkeys.
As soon as they got home, she opened up the book and found it contained a short letter of instructions from her late grandfather. She'd read it before, but had hoped she would never have to follow through with the instructions so eloquently written in gold leaf by her beloved grandfather. You will have your wish, David, she said tearfully. I'm returning you to Celebratumberland, and according to Grandpa's instructions, you need to tap the book 3 times and utter the phrase,
Gumba, gather, gather, hey, I wish to roam in my original home.
A delighted and slightly insensitive David carried out these instructions to the letter, and in no time at all found himself swirling through space and time. Suddenly David found himself in the very scary jungle, somewhere in the region of Celebratumberland, and surrounded by leopards, lions, and a 2-headed witch doctor called Anton Dek. In unison, both heads of Anton Dek said, Why, hey, we've been expecting you, cheeky monkey. After all, it's a Saturday night takeaway. After much discussion, they directed David to a nearby cave. It was here that he met an eclectic and unusual menagerie of creatures who were to become his adopted family over the ensuing days. One of these was a rather aggressive, buck-toothed bush pig called Janet Street Cred Snorter.
Hello,
she snorted.
What's your name?
I'm David, said the cheeky monkey, and I've come all the way from England to discover my roots. I was born here, you see.
Oh, what a big mistake,
said a large orangutan draped in jewellery.
My name is Bling Crosby. I would go back home, but I'm married to Janet Street Cred Snorter, and she wants to stay here. She loves it for some reason. If I could get back to the US of A, I would. I had a career there, both in crooning and rap music. In fact, I was the king of the swingers.
It was then Bling introduced him to a space vulture with huge ears called Dr. Spot.
Hi, I am Dr. Spock, and I am from the planet Zargo. I am here to observe earthly behavior. Welcome to our cave.
Why, thank you, said David. It's great to have new friends, but I must say I'm absolutely starving.
All right then, patience is a virtue.
Snorted Street Cred Snorter, who hastily produced a huge box of fried slugs.
Slugs delight.
She snorted.
Enjoy.
As they tucked into the feast, David was initially polite, but unfortunately he could not control letting out a huge burp. That food is horrible, he said before parping, thus letting out the most dreadful smell.
Bad news, dude. You've got off to a terrible start,
said Bling.
Janet Street Cred Snorter is real sensitive about her cooking.
Yeah, I am, and I think you've been very rude.
I'm sorry, said David. It's just that I'm used to good food. After another bout of burping and parping, Janet snorted and said,
You better leave the cave until you stop making those dreadful sounds.
She's right, dude. That smell is totally uncool. Get out of here!
With an element of trepidation in his heart, David left the cave. As he wandered through the jungle, he noticed a huge bear standing upon a rock next to a beautiful shimmering and diamond-glazed river. Hello! My name's Baloo, Captain Baloo, but you can call me Baloo. You must be new round here. I've never seen you here before, old bean, exclaimed Baloo with a mischievous twinkle in his eye. My name is David Mowgli Day, replied the monkey. You're not going to hurt me, are you? I know bears can be quite temperamental. I saw it on the David Attenborough show back in England, where I live with my Aunt Matilda. Oh, England! Ding dong! I just love Big Ben. I went to Eton. But of course, I'm not going to hurt you. Welcome to the jungle. I'm here to teach you about the bare necessities of life. Oh, said David. That's great, as long as it doesn't involve eating slugs. My friends I'm living with in that cave made me eat slug delight. That sounds disgusting. It's repugnant. Not quite cricket. Baloo jumped down from the rock and took David on a grand journey through the jungle, feeding him as they went with bananas, sultanas, fantangled mangoes, pickled papayas, melons, mushrooms, pineapples, peas, passion fruit and pears. Wow, I feel revived, exclaimed the chuffed David. Well, I'm glad to help you with the bare necessities of life, replied Baloo. Now tell me, David, what brings you here? I came in search of my roots. In England, there is no monkey that looks like me. I watch the David Attenborough show all the time, but I appear to be a one-off. Okay, said Baloo. Answer me one question. Can you swim? Unfortunately not, replied David. No problem, said Baloo. Get on my back and you will be benefiting from the bare necessities of life. Ding dong! Wow, this is really exciting, shouted David as Baloo swam down the beautiful river with the cheeky monkey on his back. After a couple of hours had passed, they arrived at the kingdom of monkeys. "We're here," said Baloo. "Soon you will bump into all sorts of primates and other creatures that look a bit like you." Suddenly, from behind a tree, there appeared a group of vicious mutant monkeys. The ringleader stepped forward and stated, "Firstly, bears are not allowed in our kingdom. Secondly, who is this little urchin? He's not welcome here. Seize him, I say," he commanded to his cronies, before dragging David below a small trapdoor hidden just behind the tree. As much as Baloo pulled and pulled on the ironclad trapdoor, he failed miserably to open it. Then he thought of a cunning plan. "I'd better go and enlist some help from my very special slinky friend. Otherwise, poor David will surely perish and never benefit from the bare necessities of life." Baloo jumped into the river and started to swim towards the island of snakes to find the friend who might just be able to help David escape from the clutches of the mutant creatures. Meanwhile, beneath the trapdoor, the malicious monkeys began to boil up a cauldron of water, in which they added chopped shallots, peanuts, and petit pois. "What's going on? I'm scared! I just want to go back home." "Too late," said the leader. "We're going to chop you up in small pieces." Luckily for David, Baloo returned to the trapdoor with his cunning but friendly friend, who just so happened to be a 300-year-old cobra called Kaa. "This is the trapdoor, is it?" hissed Kaa. "I'll have to open it in no time." He opened his mouth and forged his huge teeth into the locked door, ripping it open with ease. He quickly wrapped the malicious monkeys all into a bundle using his tail. He stared deeply into their evil eyes and hypnotized them into a deep trance. He then threw them into the cauldron. Kaa lifted David from the pothole, up through the trapdoor and high into the air, and then gently put him on the ground. David was thrilled to see Baloo, who gave him the biggest bear hug of his life. "I thank both of you for saving my life," said David, "but I don't belong here. I want to go home." "Don't worry, old chap. We'll help you," said Baloo. "I've brought a friend. I believe you've already met." Suddenly, Dr. Spot appeared from behind a bush.
Hello again, you.
Between them, they agreed that Cheeky Monkey should be back home with Matilda. Spot produced his magic pod.
He is a cheeky monkey. Get him out of here!
Seconds later, David found himself back at the tumble-down cottage in Nibbly Knoll. Matilda could not believe her cheeky monkey had returned, and she was overjoyed. "I've missed you so much, not to mention your delicious food, and our fun nights sitting on the sofa watching our favourite TV shows. But I did meet some interesting characters."
You look like you need feeding up,
said Matilda.
"Let me prepare you a wonderful supper, and then you can tell me about your adventures in the jungle."
As the pair of them sat at the dinner table eating beef Wellington and garlic mash, followed by their favourite Knickerbocker Glory, David spoke of his adventures and apologised to Matilda for deserting her. "I'll never do it again, Matilda," said David. "I love you very much indeed."
"I'm just so pleased to have you back,"
Matilda replied. After dinner, they gave each other a big hug, and from that day on, they lived happily ever after!
There was once a cheeky little monkey's name was David Mowgli.